We're following breaking news tonight. Bryan Kohberger appearing to be accepting a plea deal in the killings of 4 Idaho college students. It's a shocking twist in the closely watched case, potentially now sparing him the death penalty. The moment coming just weeks before the long-awaited trial was set to begin. Plus, how the families of the victims are responding. Also breaking tonight, officials identifying the sniper who ambushed firefighters in Idaho. The suspect sparking a fire to lure his victims, leaving at least 2 dead. First responders dodging bullets, shielding behind trees and fire trucks. And the new details about the 20-year-old gunman, what the suspect's grandfather is now revealing. Air travel meltdown, the ground stops and delays at major airports along the East Coast during one of the busiest weeks of summer. Could storms upend your July 4th travel plans? Diddy deliberation drama, the jury in Sean Diddy Combs' sex trafficking case, raising concerns over a fellow juror. The note sent to the judge as they weigh the music mogul's fate. Miracle at sea, a young girl falling overboard from the 4th floor deck of a Disney cruise ship. A man jumping in to save her. The video of the incredible moment they were both brought back to safety. Robo soccer, the bizarre soccer match of the future as humanoid players face plant and pile up, some even carried out on stretchers. Plus the lottery mistake that had thousands falsely thinking they had hit it big. We're talking millionaire status. Top story starts right now. Hey, good evening. We're coming on the air tonight with breaking news. Bryan Kohberger appears to have struck a plea deal with prosecutors in the case of the Idaho college murders. Kohberger accused in the 2022 killings of 4 University of Idaho students at their off-campus home. Authorities arresting him at his parents' home in Pennsylvania weeks after the deaths, the killings. This possible resolution coming just weeks before Kohberger's trial was set to begin. Prosecutors were seeking the death penalty should he have been convicted, but we're hearing from one victim's family and their attorney this deal would take the death penalty off the table. Our Stephanie Goss joins us now on set with the latest. So, Stephanie, walk our viewers through what we're learning at this hour.
Well, a possible resolution means there wouldn't be a trial, Tom, which is a remarkable conclusion potentially, but we're not quite there yet. We've been speaking to the attorney for Kaylee Gonsalves's family, who tells us that there appears to be a deal. But soon after we started talking to that attorney, the Gonsalves family posted on Facebook, and I'm going to read it to you because it is powerful. They write, "It's true. We are beyond furious at the state of Idaho. They have failed us. Please give us some time. This was very unexpected." And it's that last part that I want you to focus. Unexpected. It's surprising that it is a surprise for them. You have to wonder the other 3 families, how they're feeling at this point as well tonight.
Yeah, and then, Stephanie, when we talked to our viewers about what happened here, there was a lot of evidence that prosecutors had against Bryan Kohberger.
Yeah, they did. They had DNA. I mean, perhaps the most important thing, DNA at the scene that they say is a match for Kohberger, as well as a knife sheath that was there. But there is also other evidence, including the car that was seen at the scene of the crime. A lot of that was going to go through, that was going to play out throughout this trial. You have to imagine now that there is a judge that said, okay, we are going to trial, setting a date. They were going to have jury selection August 4th. The trial was going to be on August 18th. I mean, it was happening. This would have been a moment to have these conversations.
And Stephanie, it was pretty incredible because in November of 2022, these murders happen, and the prosecutors and police come out, they give a news conference, and it seems like they may be in over their head. And then within a month, they come back and they've traced DNA back to Pennsylvania. They went through the trash at Kohberger's house. They had the sheath. They had the cell phone data as well. They had put together what seemed like a very strong case. And since then, the defense attorneys have tried a lot of sort of, I wouldn't call them Hail Marys, but different type of defense tactics to get either the case thrown out or moved or delayed and delayed.
Yeah, they did try to get it delayed on a number of different fronts, and the judge wasn't going for it. They also tried to introduce other suspects, and the judge said there just isn't any evidence to support that there are other suspects involved. But I want to go back to you talking about those weeks following those murders and the sense of anxiety and fear at the University of Idaho campus during that period of time. And there was a fair amount of silence from authorities as well. But then they came out and they said they were looking for a white Hyundai Elantra. You may remember that. And that was through that car how they were eventually able to trace it back to Bryan Kohberger, who was a graduate student at Washington State University. And that's when all the pieces started to come together. He got in the car with his father and drove cross country. And authorities said that the FBI tracked them for 4 days before they got to Pennsylvania. And that was when that arrest was made.
We have Dateline's Keith Morrison standing by, but Steph, before you go, explain to our viewers, this is not a done deal yet.
No, it is not official until they get in front of a judge. That would be the judge in Boise, Idaho, who is going to hear the case, present it, and the judge will ask Bryan Kohberger if he agrees with it. All
right, Stephanie Gosk on that breaking news. I do want to bring in Dateline's Keith Morrison now, who has been following this case closely for that broadcast. Keith, talk to us about this breaking news. You've covered a lot of murder trials. You've seen a lot of evidence and the way prosecutors can build the case. Did Kohberger sort of have no way out from this? I mean, the evidence seemed, at least from my perspective, in some cases to be sort of overwhelming against him.
You never know whether there's a way out or not. And certainly Kohberger had good attorneys who were interested in pursuing the case. However, the evidence against him was pretty powerful stuff. It's quite possible that they simply finally looked at it and thought it makes sense for us to take this. I don't have any information about this at all, except I would have assumed that the prosecution would have contemplated at least making a proposal for a deal earlier and may even have done so. And now simply was the time that the defense.
You know, Keith, it's interesting. This happened on a day where we know that witnesses were questioned in Pennsylvania, in Kohberger's hometown, people from his past. One of his high school, I think it was high school boxing coach, maybe a girl who had known him in high school as well. Yes. So his past was going to come back into this case as well. Some of them were going to be character witnesses for the prosecution, we understand, as well. But the case was building up. It was getting closer and closer to trial date, which was August 18th. Do you think prosecutors were putting the pressure on, and Kohberger essentially felt that as well? I mean, we got to remind our viewers, right? He was somebody who was studying criminal justice, correct?
He was not only studying it, he was a PhD student in criminal justice, and he was, according to his master's degree professor, the smartest student she ever had in criminology. So he was somebody who was very interested in it, who understood a lot about it, but who had an aspect which others found socially extremely awkward. His relationship with women was troubled and strange. The information he had on his telephone was troubling and strange regarding women. His behavior in the months before these murders occurred in Moscow, Idaho, was troubling and strange. A lot of nighttime driving around that area where the murders occurred, within 100 meters of that house. This was a young man who was just behaving in ways that criminology students tend not to behave, and his relationships were a little bit like that as well.
Keith,
I think of the Go ahead. Sure.
I was going to say there are things you remember from every case you cover, every murder trial, and I think one of the things people will remember from this case is when the description first came out. Right, there was a man in black, muscular build, not too tall, maybe around 6 feet, but bushy eyebrows. And the first time we got Bryan Kohberger and we saw his image, the first thing that stood out were those bushy eyebrows.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's true, although I think the defense would have had some reason to suggest that maybe that bushy eyebrows remark was not necessarily as damning as you might think, because the young woman in question, who used the expression bushy eyebrows, then wasn't so sure that she did see the same guy. She didn't identify him properly. So, would it have been damning evidence or not? It's really hard to know.
Keith Morrison there. It looks like he froze up a bit, but always great to have Keith on. We have somebody else who's great as well, Sarah Azari, defense attorney, a good friend of Top Story as well. Sarah, a lot of people may or may not be surprised, but you've been a defense attorney. Mm-hmm. You fight the case. You defend your client, right? You defend the law. Were you surprised by this?
I wasn't, Tom, because we had the forensics, we had, IgG, investigative genetic genealogy evidence. We had the phone records, but we had that problematic roommate's identification of him with the bushy eyebrows. But just recently, the DoorDash driver showed up and put him at the crime scene. So the evidence was just mounting and mounting. And this is exactly what happens is when you realize that this is a no-go, he's probably going to get convicted. You sit down and talk to prosecutors. I think it's interesting that they're willing to drop the death penalty here.
You know, there was a lot of defense tactics that were used. Some of these are classic. They wanted to move the venue out of that area to Boise, which made sense because it was just everyone had heard about this trial. But there were some other tactics as well, especially the last one they tried, which was that there were other suspects. The defense floated this, but then the judge said you did not provide any evidence of this. What were the defense attorneys, because they, as we heard Keith say, they were good defense attorneys, what were they trying to do?
Well, I think it's proof beyond a reasonable doubt. They're doing what we always do, which is poke holes in the prosecution's case. And so I think that all of those motions were warranted. But with respect to what you're talking about, remember there was touch DNA on that knife sheet. And touch DNA is the most unreliable type of DNA. The problem here is we have other DNA. We have the stuff from the trash can in Pennsylvania. We have the IgG. So it was just a lot of damning evidence. And I think now Kohberger, you know, the death penalty is a trial within a trial. So I think for the prosecution, it was like, maybe we're not going to get the death penalty. So it's better to just make this deal and put him behind bars for the rest of his life.
And you think Bryan Kohberger, somebody like we talked to Keith about, who sort of had studied this in school, was well-versed in how these cases work, how evidence works, looked at the facts of the case, and ultimately accepted?
Yeah, I think that he's pretty smart, and he knows he's going to go down on these charges. I think what's interesting is that, you know, with the death penalty, you have a lot of mitigation that comes in. We also know that he has a lot of troubled past. And so I think all of that would have come in and maybe mitigated the death penalty. So I think, you know, on both sides, I have to say, Tom, I don't really agree with the family, the father's statement.
Well, I was going to ask you about that. I mean, these families are incredibly sad, and they're never going to see their children again. They're never going to see their daughters, 3 of those families, and one of them, a son, ever again, or hold them. They wanted justice, and at least one family, this sounds like they didn't get justice.
Yeah, the families want the evidence to play out. They want to see him go down in real time in the courtroom. But of course...
And maybe even be put to death, you know?
Right, exactly. Yeah. They want the jugular. But, you know, at the end of the day, he was spared death, but he's not going to be spared life. He's going to spend the rest of his life behind bars.
Yeah. And also just a shocking sort of scenario where this played out in a place that had not had a murder since 2015, a quiet college town. Yeah. Where kids and parents thought everyone would be safe.
Yeah.
And then you had this horrific murder in a house.
Yeah. Yeah.
4 college students just in one house.
But I think, look, I think his plea, his change of plea when he goes to court and actually the judge accepts the plea and then he's sentenced, I think that's going to bring some closure to the community.
How long does that process usually take?
I don't know when his change of plea hearing is set for, but it's pretty quickly right after the agreement is struck. And then the judge gives some time for the sentencing because each side might need to present their arguments for sentencing, and then he'll be sentenced.
All right. Sarah Zari, so great to see you again. We thank you for your help on this one. We're going to turn to another story out of Idaho as well, that horrific sniper attack on the mountain, which left 2 firefighters dead and a 3rd injured. Tonight, authorities are revealing new details about the suspects as they search for a motive. Our Liz Kreutz has the latest from Idaho.
Tonight, Idaho authorities identifying 20-year-old Wes Valroli as the suspect they say deliberately ignited a brush fire before then shooting at responding firefighters in a violent ambush attack.
We do have some social media presence. Here's some of his social media postings that were recently removed from social media. We have not been able to find any manifesto.
The sheriff saying Rowley was found dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound after an hours-long standoff Sunday at a popular hiking and recreation area in Coeur d'Alene, with more than 300 law enforcement personnel, including the FBI, responding.
Everybody shot up here. Law enforcement, code 3 now up here.
Authorities saying firefighters asked Rowley to move his car. 2 firefighters killed, another injured. Among the fallen, a 17-year veteran of Kootenai County Fire and Rescue.
This is an unimaginable tragedy. A husband, a father, a champion of the fire service, somebody who cared about his people.
Fire Chief Christopher Way says 20 local firefighters responded to the initial call, describing the harrowing moments after the suspect opened fire.
Some hid behind trees in wooded areas. Some actually climbed up higher on the mountain. I know one crew hid behind a fire truck for protection.
It's terrifying.
Very terrifying.
Tonight, authorities say they're still trying to piece together a motive. Rowley's grandfather telling NBC News that something must have snapped for his grandson to commit this crime, saying Rowley had been in contact with the fire department for a job and that he wanted to be part of a team that he sort of idolized, adding maybe he got rejected or something.
Do you believe that the suspect potentially wanting to be a firefighter was a motive here?
You know, we just don't know. It's too early to tell.
Tonight, this tight-knit town left shaken and searching for answers as they step up to support their heroic first responders.
What is so shocking about something like this happening?
You never think it's going to happen in your town?
And with that, Liz Kreutz joins us tonight from Hayden, Idaho. So, Liz, we've been hearing more from authorities just in the last couple of hours about the suspect. What else have you learned?
Well, Tom, just moments ago, authorities released the names of the victims. They're saying that it's 2 battalion chiefs that were sadly killed, John Morrison of Coeur d'Alene Fire and Frank Harwood, who is that 17-year veteran of the county fire and rescue. The fire chief telling us he has 2 little daughters, just tragic. We're also learning a little bit more about the suspect. Authorities say that they've had 5 interactions with him here in Idaho for trespassing and for welfare checks, but they say he has no criminal record, and it's still unclear to them why he did this, Tom.
Okay, Liz Kreutz for us. Liz, we thank you for that report. Also breaking tonight, holiday air travel hitting a snag as delays and cancellations mount at major airports up and down the East Coast. Tom Costello is live for us tonight at Newark International with the busiest travel day of the holiday week one of the busiest travel days of the holiday week quickly approaching. We see those lines behind you there, Tom. Talk to us about these delays tonight.
Well, listen, it started this afternoon with ground delays, and then we had pretty bad thunderstorms moving in from the west. And as a result, they had to stop all activity here at Newark. Total ground stop. Ground stops also at LaGuardia and also at JFK, and Philadelphia also affected. The good news is in the last few minutes, Newark has gone to ground delay. The bad news, the ground delay is going to last until midnight or so. And so these lines at times have gone all the way to the other end of the terminal and then all the way to the terminal behind the photographer, behind our cameraman here. It is a very, very long wait for folks who tell me they've waited 2, 3, 4 hours only to have their flight canceled. And the trouble is, Tom, because it is one of the busiest travel periods of the entire year, oftentimes the flight you're hoping to catch, the next flight, it's already sold out. So we talked to one woman who was hoping to fly home to Orlando, and now they've told her you're going to have to wait until at least July 2nd and maybe beyond that. So this is all a part of the volatile summer weather systems, which always play havoc with airlines trying to move passengers this time of year.
All right, Tom Costello, not a good start to this holiday week. We thank you for that report. Next to the jury deliberations, they've begun in the Sean Diddy Combs sex trafficking and racketeering trial. And it appears it's getting off to a rocky start. The jury raising a concern, saying in a letter to the judge that one member of the jury, quote, does not follow his instructions. NBC's Chloe Malas has been covering this trial for us and brings this report tonight.
Only about an hour after the case of Sean Diddy Combs was turned over to the jury, already a potential wild card in the deliberation room. The jury delivering a note to the judge saying one juror is not following instructions. He's a 51-year-old scientist with a PhD.
It was unclear whether or not there was a concern about following the legal instructions or the other instructions about how to approach the case.
Is it too late to replace a juror?
It's not. The judge can, but it would be a big deal once deliberations start.
The case is complex and sprawling. Combs charged with 5 federal counts, including racketeering, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution.
In this courthouse, 8 men and 4 women are sifting through 7 weeks of testimony from 34 witnesses as media from all over the world await a verdict.
As jurors began deliberating in the courtroom, Combs' family joined hands and prayed. Prosecutors allege Combs ran a criminal enterprise, wielding his power to have employees carry out illegal activity on his behalf. They also argued that he used violence, drugs, and threats of blackmail to coerce former girlfriends Cassie Ventura and another referred to only as Jane to have sex with male escorts while he watched. In contrast, the defense not calling any witnesses, resting their case in 30 minutes. Combs declined to take the stand. But in closing arguments, his lead attorney, Mark Agnifilo, said all sexual encounters were consensual, saying Combs had a swingers lifestyle. Agnifilo also arguing that this video of Combs beating Ventura at a Los Angeles hotel in 2016 is evidence of domestic violence, not sex trafficking, going so far as to call their relationship a great modern love story.
Okay, and with that, Chloe Malas joins us now on set. So, Chloe, you were in courtroom. There's been some reporting about what Diddy's bringing into the courtroom. He's had some books with him. What is he reading?
So remember, this is a guy who's walked into trial nearly every single day going like this, blowing kisses at his family in a good mood. He had some books with him today, turns around to everyone. The jury wasn't in there, and he held up 2 books. I mean, it's like kind of ridiculous if you think about it, but he's like smiling, and he holds up The Power of Positive Thinking and another one called The Happiness Advantage, right? So clearly, I guess, like he's reading these at the Metropolitan Detention Center, which is not really a positive place, right? Like there's a lot of issues there at that prison, and clearly maybe those are the books that he's trying to get through. Maybe he's or helping him get through. Maybe he's working on his own book.
When he does this, does he smile? Is he kind of joking or?
Yes, but like his mood then, it was a roller coaster today.
Yeah.
He was somber and stoic during jury instructions. Then he had that positive moment where he showed the books. But then at the end of the day, when that second jury note came in, asking a question about a predicate crime of RICO conspiracy, him and his attorneys, they did not look happy. So maybe the jury's getting closer on RICO. And if they're deliberating RICO, does that mean he could potentially be guilty? That has a life sentence.
We'll have to wait and see tomorrow. Chloe, we thank you for being there for us. Still ahead tonight, the incredible rescue at sea. A little girl falling off a cruise ship, plunging into the waters below. A man then jumping in to save her. The video of what happened next. We are now back with a scary scene at sea after a child went overboard from a Disney cruise. A man on board jumping off the ship to save her. The moments after caught on camera. NBC's George Solis has the latest from Florida.
This dramatic video shows rescue boats racing towards a man and child desperately treading water in the middle of the ocean.
Can you see him? Yeah, look.
After passengers say the child fell overboard from the Disney Dream cruise ship and the man jumped in to save her.
You could see all the staff running to the port side. They got their life jackets and rings, and everybody was looking in the water.
The cruise ship making a U-turn, according to stunned passengers who watched from aboard.
It was horrific.
Applause and cheers erupting when crew members hoisted the pair to safety and brought them back to the ship.
Everyone cheered. It was a good moment.
It happened Sunday as the ship was sailing from the Bahamas back to Fort Lauderdale.
Passengers say the fall occurred somewhere along the fourth floor deck, just below the yellow boats you see here. Passengers say they also heard loudspeaker warnings of Mr. Bob, emergency code for man overboard.
It's unclear how the child ended up in the water.
It was so scary. It was like, how did she fall?
In a statement to NBC News, Disney Cruise Line confirming the rescue of 2 of their guests, saying, "We commend our crew members for the exceptional skills and prompt actions, which ensured the safe return of both guests within minutes."
The response was just amazing. Amazing.
More than 30 million people go on cruises every year. During a 10-year period, 212 people went overboard from cruise ships worldwide. Just 48 were rescued. By law, cruise ships must have rails that are 42 inches or higher.
I'm just glad they're safe.
Tonight, the child and rescuer's conditions are unknown, but those on board calling it nothing short of a miracle.
Such a sigh of relief. I mean, it's a parent's biggest nightmare.
And with that, George joins us from Fort Lauderdale. George, what more do we know about how long that pair was in the water?
Yeah, Tom, passengers telling us this whole ordeal, but between the time the girl fell into the water and that boat went out to rescue her, was about 15 to 20 minutes. And passengers, get this, Tom, telling us the boat was actually still moving, slowly albeit, but still moving when that girl hit the water, making this story all the more miraculous.
Yeah, incredible. He got to her, and then the cruise ship was able to turn back around and send that emergency crew in. George, we thank you for that. Coming up on Top Story, we'll tell you how this driverless car you see right here got to its new driver. Pretty cool. All right, we are back down with Top Story's news feed, and we start with the victim of the June 1st firebomb attack in Boulder, Colorado. She has died. Prosecutors saying the 82-year-old woman succumbed to severe injuries from that attack, filing an additional first-degree murder charge against the suspect who was filmed throwing Molotov cocktails at demonstrators supporting Israeli hostages. 13 others were hurt. A firefighter injured while trying to put out an industrial fire at a Michigan oil recycling facility. Videos showing fire crews battling flames at a waste treatment facility in Detroit. No cause for the fire has been found just yet, but an employee at the facility reported seeing steam and hearing a bang. The injured firefighter is being treated at a nearby hospital, but is expected to be okay. And 2 teen girls were shot near the landmark Stonewall Inn after the New York City Pride March on Sunday. Celebrations outside the historic LGBTQ bar were coming to a close when a gunman fired at a 17-year-old girl, that bullet striking her in the leg before she fired back with her own gun and accidentally struck the 16-year-old girl in the head. 16-year-old now in critical condition. Police saying it is too early to know if the incident was a hate crime related. No suspect has been yet identified. And Tesla making its first driverless delivery of a new car to a customer. The company sharing a video of the car leaving the Tesla factory in Austin, Texas. The Model Y SUV driving 30 miles across streets and highways with no one behind the wheel. Look at that. Meeting its buyer on a curb. The car using the same technology as Tesla's robotaxi, which piloted in Austin last weekend and has been criticized for incidents that report erratic driving by the autonomous cars. Here's Global Watch now. Thousands evacuating from raging wildfires in both Turkey and France. A heat wave producing unusually high temperatures and fueling fires in western Turkey and southern France. At least 50,000 were evacuated in Turkey with high winds spreading flames. Video showing dramatic rescues with firefighters attempting to extinguish fires from the air and on the ground. Parts of Europe may have been ravaged by wildfires, with climate change making summers hotter and drier. And thousands of people in Norway were given false hope after being told they'd won life-changing lottery prizes, only to find out it wasn't true. About 47,000 people were notified they'd won huge prizes up to $1 million in a Europe-wide lottery. But the state-owned gambling company, Norsk Tipping, said a currency conversion error led prizes to mistakenly be multiplied by 100. Before resigning, the company's CEO apologized for giving people false hope. That's pretty terrible. More than a third of residents in the tiny Pacific island of Tuvalu have applied for a first-of-its-kind climate visa to live in Australia. The visas are being offered as Tuvalu is one of the countries most threatened by climate change. At least 4,000 of the country's 11,000 people applied for the special visa. It has an annual cap of about 280. Tuvalu sits less than 16 feet above sea level, with NASA estimating half of its most populated areas will be underwater by 2050. Okay, coming up next, a warning about the housing market back here at home. The new numbers showing mortgage delinquency rates are on the rise. Why? We'll tell you what may be behind it. That's next. We're back now with Money Talks and a potential red flag in the housing market. Mortgage delinquencies are on the rise, and we're seeing a jump in the early stages of all delinquencies from 0.92% in April to just over 1% in May. You can see that there. To tell us why this matters, I want to get right to senior business correspondent Christine Roman. So, Christine, people are going to be saying that stat and be asking, why is it on the news?
Right.
But it's significant. Explain.
It's a low number, but it's rising. And these are people who can't pay their mortgage bills. And if you think about it, your home is probably your most valued possession and investment. So it's showing some distress among consumers who are homeowners. You know, it started with lower income consumers, but now this has moved into near prime, prime, and super prime. What does that mean? Those are people who are at the higher end of the income spectrum who are also having some trouble paying their bills. So it shows some pain in their monthly budgets. And again, these are historically very low numbers. We're not talking about the Great Recession. So they're low, but they're rising, and that's why we're watching them.
Does it tell you any sort of bigger sign of something that's coming, or not really?
We're not sure. We think what it's saying is that the housing market right now is very stuck. And a lot of these people have a lot of home equity in their house. It's worth a lot, but their bills are going up as well. And maybe their income isn't keeping up with their bills. And so they're having trouble with these payments. You know, when you're talking about a prime or a super prime borrower, they could sell that house. They could get out from under it probably very easily with a decent profit. But then where are you going to go?
Yeah.
So there's this real frozen nature of the housing market right now.
You've been doing a few stories for us on mortgages and just home ownership in general. We did the story about suburban neighborhoods turning into rental meccas.
That's right.
And now you have these issues with the homes and people not being able to buy them. Are you seeing any kind of pattern? Because the mortgage rates are still high, but there's houses for sale.
Yeah, and insurance rates have been rising as well. So you might be in the house that you paid for and you still have a pretty low mortgage rate, but your costs are still going up. And what we've seen in the single family home rental has been a really big story in the suburbs. For these people who are behind on their mortgages, they might be able to rent out for more than they're paying in their mortgage bill anyway. So there are some options for some people in the suburbs who might feel like they're being priced out of their own home.
All right, we're going to keep an eye on it. I know you will as well.
Yeah.
Christine, we thank you. When Top Story returns, soccer, sort of. Robots powered by AI taking to the pitch for a soccer match, unlike anything we've ever seen. How they did when we come back. Finally tonight, a soccer match unlike any other. The teams made up entirely of robots, captivating fans even as they stumbled, face planted, and had to be carried off the field in stretchers. Take a look.
With fans in the stands, a first for the sports world. China is calling this the first 3-on-3 humanoid robot soccer match. But Messi and Ronaldo don't have much to worry about. These athletes seem to putt around, excel in face plants, and headbutting one another. Some even had to be carried off the pitch. But it's not the athletic play that is world class, it's the technology. China claims all these robots are AI-driven without human intervention, programmed to do push-ups, walk uphill, and withstand a straight shot to the chest. Even designed to stand up after falling, equipped with sensors to help find the ball and navigate the field. Sort of. College teams reportedly built the robots, with one taking home a trophy after scoring the most goals. The World Cup? It's not. But for one Chinese college, glory in the Robo Cup.
That does it for us. We thank you so much for watching Top Story tonight. I'm Tom Llamas in New York. Stay right there. More news on the way. We thank you for watching. And remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.